Welcome to Day Zero Update for December 21st, 2025. I'm your host, Chris Sologi.
And I'm Brandon Perkins.
And yeah, we've got a big week of news.
Mm-hmm.
As we kind of round out the year here, this will be the final show of the year.
Yep.
We'll have one next week that'll just be our Game of the Year show. So
Mm-hmm.
hopefully nothing important to talk about. And if so, we'll just talk about it the following week. No real
Yeah.
biggie. But we have a few games getting dates and time frames and such. But mostly kind of industry news here, as we've gotten some games that have done well,
Mm-hmm.
some not so well, and a number of weird little acquisitions and such, as well as, let's say, a conclusion to one of the big lawsuits we've been talking about for the past few months. And let's say one of Brandon's most anticipated games has a big monkey paw moment.
Yep.
And we'll get
Yes,
to
it
that
does.
here in a bit. But before we do that, we'll talk about what we've been playing, and I'll kick it off here. I've been playing a good bit of Sectori this week.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly trying to get better at the game because it is, it's one of those games that gives you a tutorial at the beginning but does not explain everything that's going on.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of gives you the basics, but there are various mechanics and like scoring things that you need to figure out on your own or find people explaining how things work.
Mm-hmm.
And I ended up figuring out a thing that's you see on the menus pretty often that is called a strike combo,
Mm-hmm.
which I did not really see anything that's explained what that is, but I ended up finding somebody talking about it and kind of made more sense for me, which is the strike mechanic is kind of a dash move that you can do into enemies to take out a few of them. You get like a
Mm-hmm.
little ring around you that is an explosion that kills all the enemies near you. And as
Mm-hmm.
you upgrade it, that I believe that ring gets bigger.
Mm.
But the strike itself, if you do it at the tokens that drop every so often, as well as some of the jump pads and other things that are around the level as you're moving around.
Mm-hmm.
The nice thing is that instead of the like 10-second reload that the strike has, it refills instantly, so you could use it again. And the combo part of it is that you want to kind of keep doing it at these tokens and other hotspots
Mm-hmm.
to increase this combo multiplier, and then you kind of start scoring pretty well from there. So yeah, as you're kind of picking up little uh, oh, I forget what they're called, but pick up little things that the enemies drop as you kill them. You spawn tokens every so often. I think there's a meter
Mm-hmm.
that fills up as you're doing that, and so you're kind of want to build that up, get that stuff dropping, and probably let it sit for a bit and try to get at least a couple dropping before you start using it. But as the game progresses, it throws a lot on the screen, so you can kind of get to a point of just doing that a bunch, and I would do that and end up um, kind of letting the upgrade tokens overfill and forgetting to actually use it to upgrade any of my um, abilities, which
Mm-hmm.
is not great, but I'm still getting the hang of some of that stuff. But I did manage to get a new high score, so that managed to help out and make up for that
Mm-hmm.
on at least one of my runs.
Yep.
So that's been good. So I'm just gonna keep pushing for that and getting further into the game. But that's good to be getting better at it. Let's see. Then there's been playing some Wario World since that is on NSO for the Switch 2.
Mm-hmm.
It's the newest GameCube game, and that is definitely a very very weird game, which is Treasure's whole thing, is they love
Mm-hmm.
to make very unusual games.
Yep.
Um, and this is one that it's somewhat of a 3D platformer, but it's not really. I would say it's the stages are not really built in any way that they are really like platforming focused. You do have to
Mm.
do some jumping, but more the point of this is kind of a collect-a-thon of sorts.
Mm.
The stages are I played through the first world of stages. I'm on the second world's first stage. It's only 2 stages for each world. I think 4 worlds and probably a final world at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a boss stage in there. So the first world, um, if you pause the screen, you see there's 8 of these collectibles. And usually that is you finding a button and then having to find the corresponding colored space that uh, is attached to it. Sometimes they're close by, sometimes they're hidden a bit. So you kind of
Mm.
have to do some work for that. And the most annoying part of that whole thing is that enemies respawn as soon as the screen comes back to their area. So
Mm-hmm.
you can kill a bunch of enemies in this area, leave the screen, come back to check something out, and then there's a bunch more enemies to face.
Mm.
Luckily, most of them are pushovers, so you can just run past them or just take them out again. No real biggie. Um, but then they start introducing other moves. As there's these like fairies that are trapped in boxes around the stage. I think it's 5 per stage.
Yeah.
That give you tips on things. Usually, the early ones are just teaching you different mechanics. The second stage, they start teaching you more advanced stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
with the enemies, there are smaller enemies and there are bigger ones. And the bigger ones you don't kill when you hit them enough. They kind of pass out. Then you can pick them up, and then from there you can either hold the attack button to charge up a throw, or you can just tap it to throw. But you can also swirl the left stick to do like a spinning move with them, which gets used for a couple of doors that you need to swing them the right way even. And so if you end up doing the wrong way, you messed up. Now you have to throw that enemy and kill it, and then hope another one spawns. So that's kind of where the spawning stuff is a bit of an asset. Um, though where you kind of really need the specific type of enemies, they just put a pot that spews enemies from it. So that's kind of the tricky thing on the second level is a lot more specific ways that they lock progression. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and so you find, like bridges style enemies that you kind of have to knock over to kind of get some shortcuts back to areas. So they have a little bit of that kind of stuff to make it a little easier to kind of cut your way around the level, but it does get a bit annoying at times when you're like, okay, I don't know where the thing is for this, and it's like, oh, it's probably hidden under some. So yeah, they got the 8 collectibles, the 5 fairies to collect. There's also 3 main goals. One of which is to beat the final um, boss or whatever it is at the end of each stage. That is not like a super complicated boss, but um, there's that. There's one that's like to collect these like gold trophies that are supposedly going to give you like a health improvements, like another heart or something like that. I've never found all of those. I forget some other goal that you need to do. I think that one might be for I'm blanking on what it is, but yeah, they kind of
Hmm.
give you a screen for each of these stages of like here's all the stuff to collect. I'm sure there's uh, benefits for doing all of that stuff.
Mm.
I think I looked at the game facts page and it was like you can get different endings based on the amount of fairies that you collect, and it starts at like 1, gets you the really bad ending, to
Mm-hmm.
getting all of them for the best ending kind of thing. And
Mm-hmm.
so like that's kind of a weird aspect of this game. Um, but yeah, it's a pretty decent game, but it's also got a lot of annoyances. Once you get to the second stage, um, I forget if it's in the first stage as well, but in the second stage, if you fall off of any of um the like fall into the water or anything, you get sucked down into this other stage where you can lose your coins.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you have these ghosts that chase you. You have to break these boxes. Then we either have a little like jump pad to take you back out of there that stage, or a bomb that takes so long to blow up they're not a threat at all. You just like break it and run away. Um,
Mhm.
you're just trying to do this, and if you like, I think if you get hit by the ghost, you lose some coins. But if you also fall, they also have like little water hazards. If you fall into that, you lose coins for as long as you're in there.
Mhm.
But it seems like the that stuff is a very minor amount that it takes. So unless you literally like pass out while you're doing this,
Mhm.
while you're playing it, you're most likely going to be fine. Because at the point where I'm at, in I think the first stage of the second world, I have like 4,000 coins, something like that. And most of the things that need coins are asking for like it's not really making a much of a dent in that.
Mhm.
And the interesting thing is when you kill enemies and such to spawn the coins, you can hold I think the left trigger, and Wario just opens his mouth real wide and sucks in the coins. So
Mhm.
just a very weird looking thing. That's kind of what you expect out of a Wario game. And yeah, he also has a dash move that you can use to uh, do more damage to the bigger enemies, or take out a bunch of the small enemies in once. But also it can run you off of ledges and such to send you back to the coin sucking world. And that's kind of where a lot of the annoyances are. Is like, oh, I got hit by this thing that I really should not have gotten hit by, and now I got to deal with this stupid world. And running around hitting these boxes to find the jump pad back up, kind of thing. And it's like a lot of those kind of issues. Um, but it's a pretty decent game. It's just one that's if it did not have those kind of annoyances, it would be a pretty short game because I think it's
Mhm.
probably like eight or nine stages plus 4 or 5 boss stages. Uh, does not seem like it would be a super long game. You could probably beat it in like 10 hours maybe if you don't really get obsessed with trying to collect everything. Um, but yeah, it's a pretty decent game. It's worth checking out on the Switch 2's and so GameCube
Mhm.
app if you have that. So there's that. I also played the N64 games they added.
Mhm.
Atomic Trouble, which is an Ubisoft game that was both these games released around the same time, and I believe both were um, Michel Ancel games, if I'm remembering correctly. Yeah, this was conceptualized by Michel Ancel and developed by a team of around 120 people,
Mhm.
starting pre-production in June '96, but got delayed a bunch. Ended up releasing like 2 or 3 months before Rayman
Mhm.
2. Um,
Yeah.
that was developed by Ubisoft Montreal. Uh, you're a character, and the weird thing is there's a PC version and an N64 version. Apparently, the N64 version they really cut down the intro, maybe for
Mhm.
space reasons or something. But you really kind of lose all the detail in this. So, like on the wiki page, it says you're an janitor named Ed, who drops a container of unidentified fluid from a
Mhm.
spaceship to Earth, which has this whatever liquid in it that transforms the creatures that ingest it into mutated versions of themselves. And so then this guy named Grogh, drinks it and becomes the bad guy in the game, and sort of for whatever reason it's just one can, but he's able to milk that to change the world. Essentially, because like fish in the water ingest it, and creatures and vegetables also ingest it and become enemies. So yeah, and but on the N64 version, you kind of see a little cutscene of a can dropping out of the ship, landing on this part of Earth, and then you get transported to a like a version of that Super Mario 64 stage where you're sledding,
Mhm.
um, basically that, but it throws in a bunch of collectibles you can try to grab, and there's like 20 per stage for one of them, and I forget how many, and there are probably at least 2 or 3 others that you can collect, and yeah, it
Mhm.
just throws this time thing, shows you time like you're supposed to beat this time, but it just continues on even if you fail it.
Mhm.
Um, And from there, you kind of see the character slowly walking towards a portal that takes you to the next area. And so that from there, you're trying to find a scientist who can help you uh, stop the bad guys and
Mhm.
all this, and potentially reverse the effects of this fluid. Um, and from there, you're just kind of going around these stages, finding the portals that go to the next part of the stage, and doing a lot of that. And it's pretty basic, like platforming with some puzzle elements to it, and it doesn't do a great job of explaining much of what's going on. You end up taking a lot of damage just because you don't necessarily know how to take out enemies, and you don't really get any sort of weapon early on. You have to go through like another stage or two before you get a weapon. And yeah, it's an alright game. It definitely made sense why. I think I was looking at this. The PC version has like a 70% rating on game rankings, and the N64 version has like a 50. And it's like, yeah, this is an okay game. It's not really worth playing unless you just want to something to play, I guess. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, the better game is Rayman 2, um, which is the N64 version of that game, and it's still pretty good. Weirdly enough, the N64 version has an option on it for like high res or low res textures, for
Mhm.
some graphical options that you would not necessarily expect out of this for a game that came out in 1999.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think that came out in October 99, or N64 was November 99, and I think the Tonic Trouble was like August of 99. So they ended up
Mhm.
having two games somewhat similar coming out around the same time. But yeah, this I assume follows up on the events of the first game, but this time you are sort of trying to. I forget what Rayman's specifically doing here. Um, oh yeah, like pirates invade,
Mhm.
and you're trying to find your friend. And you get uh, collected from them and imprisoned, and you kind of break out and get your friend Glowbox out, but he gets lost on the way to the ground from their airship, and so you're trying to find him. And along the way, you kind of find the ferry that you need that will give you abilities to help fight back and potentially save the world and all that. So yeah, the story wise, it's decent enough for what it is. The gameplay is where it really is a noticeable improvement on what uh, what I saw in like Tonic Trouble, because this is a different team. Ubisoft Pictures, I guess, Ubi Pictures,
Mhm.
which is Ubisoft Montpellier now. You got more attack stuff. You got more ranged attacks because you kind of just shoot these like little light balls out of your hands that generally lock onto enemies. You're
Mhm.
gonna have a little bit of Zelda style lock on to it, complete with like a very weird kind of like shuffling move he does to the left and right and all that while you're holding down the lock on. Uh,
Mhm.
Sonic Trouble also kind of has that, and it's not really explained at all uh, uh, why you have that because it's not really all that useful. Um, but here it's more useful as they have things you're trying to dodge, and that's sort of an easier way of dodging
Mhm.
that kind of stuff, and you're collecting lums, to which it has like a couple hundred you want to collect overall kind of
Mhm.
thing. But yeah, you have like some nice movement abilities, the ability to kind of climb up walls and such. They have ladders and other kind of textures of things that you can climb. Um, but you also have the nice little like helicopter move that he does with his hair that lets him kind of glide across gaps and such. And yeah, it makes for a pretty fun time. I think by the time I was about an hour in, I started getting actual attack moves and more traversal stuff. So it definitely starts picking up after the initial intro stuff. Um, but yeah, it's pretty neat. So if you want a solid 3D platformer that is not your typical Mario kind of thing, this is a bit more of its own thing. This is one to check out on
Mhm.
NSO. So there you go for that. Yeah, that game and the first game and probably Rayman 3 probably deserves to have a collection
Mm-hmm.
available, some sort of like remaster collection. Because there's
Mm.
definitely some improvements you can make control wise for the 3D stuff, but yeah, the 2D game is well worth getting out there because that's a very good game.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason why they spent a lot of time just porting that to new platforms when
Yep.
those would show up. That and like Rayman 2 were the games they would constantly bring to like the new DS or 3DS or other platforms those games came on. But yeah, they were kind of common porting things that Ubisoft would do when they cared about Rayman,
Yeah.
or they gave up for a while and then did Origins and Legends,
Yep.
which were even better games. So
Mm-hmm.
that's been pretty much what I've been doing. So how about you, Brandon?
Well, as for me, I had been playing because we're sort of at that time period where it's like there's a bunch of new games that are coming out, but I don't really have the money to play any of them, so I'm sort of relying on my my PS Plus subscription to sort of get me through it and going through some old stuff that I haven't played or tried to play and never finished. And so I spent the last week playing Axiom Verge 2. Um, Now, I've played the original Axiom Verge, and it's a great game, an amazing game, in fact. Uh, and I got a little bit into Axiom Verge 2 back when it originally came out, but I never really got that deep into it, either because, it was just there was a bunch of other stuff going on at the time, or I found something else to get my interest. But I decided, you know what, this would be the week that I'd finally go back and actually play the entire game. And right off the bat, definitely it's a great game. One of the things it plays actually a little different to how the original Axiom Verge is. First of all, this game is in fact a prequel to the original Axiom Verge, though the game doesn't really tell you that until like later on in it through like some context clues and stuff. Um, but gameplay wise, whereas like the original Axiom Verge is very much more of like a shooter, Axiom Verge 2 is more melee focused because your primary weapon is usually either like some sort of like pickaxe or like a dagger or something of that caliber. You do have like a boomerang that kind of also works as a projectile weapon, but it's kind of weak compared to your melee stuff. On top of that, there's also the option of turning into a sort of morphing into this little sentient robot bug called Damu, who can do things like he has like a buzz saw attached to a string that's his primary melee weapon. He also gets like a grappling hook ability later on that is honestly kind of finicky to work with because you kind of have to sort of suss out like what places it'll work effectively, what places it won't. But pretty much anything that's got like a sheer cliffside, more or less, you can basically use it. Um, so much so that towards the end of the game, I was using Damu more than I was using, um, Adira's proper form. Weirdly enough, um, but um, yeah, and so like the other thing that this game does that's sort of different from the first is that the first game was heavily based around using a like this weird device that like manipulates like graphical glitches and stuff in the world that'll let you like go to new places or it'll like create new platforms, that kind of thing. What Axiom Verge 2 does is that it bases itself around dimension hopping. Um, there's essentially two entirely different maps in this game. One of which is, the regular overworld, and the other one that's more or less called the Breach, which is also the place where like most of the first game takes place in. And this one involves you trying to track down these sort of red portals that you have to go to. And you can't actually go into them yourself. You have to send Damu in through them because apparently only he can sort of deal with all the stuff that happens on the other side safely. But the way that these portals operate, they kind of slowly changes as the game goes on. Originally, you'll just like find them out in the wild somewhere, but eventually it'll get to the point where it's like they'll start like hiding and you have to use a certain ability to sort of suss them out and find them. And then later on, it creates the what they you get this item called the breach attractor, which is actually it was the point when you get to like the points like, oh yeah, this is definitely a prequel because the breach attractor is something that is used in the very first game. um, and essentially, what this does is it attracts these breach portals to you. Because you'll come across occasionally these portals that are like they're like locked behind like a wall, or they're trapped in like a hole in the ground or whatever. And all you got to do is activate this, and it'll drag the breach portal to you. And you, depending on how you're, traversing this place, you'll get to a point where you have to attract the portal to a certain area and then go through it so that you can access like a ledge or whatever in the breach that you couldn't get to otherwise. Or occasionally you'll use it to get to like secret areas where you can get like additional health power ups and stuff like that. But I finished it, and it's really good. I did think that the ending was kind of it felt kind of rushed to a certain extent, but I also understand why it's like that. Um, and damn, it was like, yeah, much like with the first one, it's a really good game. But also like not as much in this case as it was with the first one. But you do spend time like where there's like, okay, I gotta start filling out little places on this level grid to find out where it is I need to go to next. Like that does happen a couple of times, like with the first one, but not as much. Honestly, compared to the first Axiom Verge 2 is a little more. It's a little more focused, and it's a little bit more open in how you can traverse the game. Unlike in like the first Axiom Verge, where there are bosses that essentially you have to fight them, and usually it's because there's like an area like that warns you, like, yeah, you're fixing to go to a boss. There are boxes in Axiom Verge 2, but unlike that one, the first game, um, a bunch of them you don't really even have to fight. You can just leave them. That's not to say that there isn't any like benefit to fighting them, because you'll get like uh, stuff to up your stats and everything when you do. But as far as like bosses you have to fight, there's really only a couple that are absolutely necessary. But yeah, so I've been playing Axiom Verge 2. That was a great game. And I've also sort of been playing Path of Exile as well. I had been playing a little bit of Path of Exile 2 last weekend because they were doing like a free weekend promotion. But that, obviously by the time Monday came around, that was it for that. So I just went back to the original Path of Exile. And yeah, I mean, it's still a really solid Diablo clone. And honestly, it's a better Diablo than really what any of the recent Diablo games have been like. But yeah, that's pretty much what I've been playing.
All right, so yeah, let's get to some news. And first
Mm-hmm.
up, we got an update from Bungie for what they are doing with Marathon, and
Mm-hmm.
alongside a video they put out showing off more of the game and all that. They also mentioned that they are releasing in March. No specific
Mm-hmm.
date, just March right now.
Yeah.
But also it'll be a $40 game.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they're pretty confident in this. It seems so, which I think some of the testing recently has shown. That's a better game than what they were working with last year. So they've definitely put
Mm-hmm.
in a lot of work for that. So yeah, we'll have to see how this goes. But yeah, I'm curious about this one.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm not gonna give Arc Raiders anything for its full use of AI. So
Mm-hmm.
there you go on that. But yeah, you're gonna check out Marathon or at least consider it.
This is like I think this is really is like Budgie's first major project that they'll be releasing after they manage to separate from Activision. Um, so you know what? I might be. I still need a little bit of convincing, but and it's mostly just because the whole idea of turning Marathon into an extraction shooter still seems kind of off. Um,
Yeah,
but that being said, I am open to being convinced otherwise.
yeah. So yeah, I'm curious if they're gonna have a more open test in the next couple months here. Kind of make it
Hmm.
a little easier. Kind of check it out and see what that game's gonna be
Yeah.
before launch.
Yeah, one of the things I do like, because part of the reason this is happening is Budgie is trying to sort of go back into their vault to try and revive some of their older franchises, and like Marathon was more or less their OG franchise. They had games before that, but Marathon was the one that really took off, and before they started making Halo and everything. Um, they got a bunch of other franchises that have been laying dormant that they should definitely consider going back to. Um,
Yeah.
you know, uh, like just freaking like off the top of my head. Um, let me think here.
Oni.
Oni is definitely one that I would like to. Honestly, Oni is a game that it tried to do a lot of stuff ahead of its time, but because of the limitations of the tech they were working with back then, it just kind of became really, really awkward to play.
Yeah.
Um, Honestly, if they tried to go back to it and using modern tech and like still keep like the like old school vintage cyberpunk anime influence, the Ghost in the Shell obviously is the one that everybody talks about because like it's very obvious.
Yeah.
But they can keep that, but working with something like like the DualSense controller, there's a lot more that they can do with that than what they could do with the OG PS2 controller. Um, Also, they should consider going back to the Myth uh, franchise as well. That was like those were a couple of like really heavily very well received real time strategy games back in the
Yeah.
day. Um, and it showed that they were capable of doing like really good strategy games too. So yeah, 100% something they should try their hand at again. Um, and
Yeah.
obviously, like they got other stuff too. There's a bunch of other stuff they've done as well, but those are the stuff that comes to mind. So yeah, they need to if they want to start, going back to the wheelhouse of some of their older, less remembered franchises. Then yeah, Oni and Myth would definitely be really good places to start.
Yeah. So we got that. We do have another March game, Mega
Mm-hmm.
Man Star Force Legacy Collection.
Mm-hmm.
Will be out March 27th. Get that on PlayStation, Xbox, Switch, and PC. It'll be $40. For that, you get I think 7 games
Mm-hmm.
technically. Uh, I guess the first game with 3 variants: Leo, Dragon, and Pegasus.
Mm-hmm.
Star Force 2 has 2 variants, and Star Force 3 has 2 variants as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm assuming those have a little bit of a Pokemon uh, vibe to them.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's a bit more of a evolution of the Battle Network stuff with
Mm-hmm.
more action things. I think they call it here. Um,
Mm-hmm.
is more of an action RPG kind of thing. So yeah, that looks like it could be interesting. I don't know that I'm gonna check it out because I didn't play the original version, so I
Mm-hmm.
don't really have that much nostalgia for any of this. And yeah, looking at like the trailer they have here, showing some gameplay, and it's like, yeah, this is an interesting battle system, but I might wait for it to go on a discount or something.
Mhm.
later on, like they're kind of doing for Mega Man now in the wake of announcing where you can get was it 11 I think is like 449 on
Mhm.
Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, and PC.
Mhm.
So I was like, yeah, I'll check that out for you know $4. This new one, I don't know if you played that any of those original ones on the DS.
No, I don't think I did. By that point, like my Mega Man playing was mostly like it was either exclusive to consoles or to like older compilations. I never really, other than like the Mega Man X games, I never really got for the spin-offs.
I think I'm waiting at this point for Mega Man Legends to get a collection.
Yeah, that one's going to be awkward as hell though, because that first game has not aged well.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a
they might
lot
have
of
to
fun.
do some
Yeah,
work on like controls and such to
yeah.
make it control.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. That first Mega Man Legends game is still very fun, but like you try playing it now, it's endlessly frustrating.
Yeah, I think they could certainly do a three that's let's say would be a bit more Ratchet and Clank in style.
Oh
That I
yeah.
think would work very well if they
Mm,
want to do that. I think those two games also have a lot of Zelda in them because you're going to
mhm.
different kind of dungeons and such. But yeah, uh, that'd be neat. But yeah, that's that. Those are two March releases to keep an eye on.
Mhm.
We do have one more game that's coming out next year. It's Trails in the Sky Second Chapter. Got an official announcement for PS5, Switch One, Switch Two, and PC. We all expected this because the first chapter did pretty well, and they teased the second chapter at the end.
Mhm.
For that, they're saying fall for this one, so all checking this out.
Mhm.
See where the second chapter is going, what sort of changes they make for that. Though I imagine probably not too much from what we saw in the first chapter.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's one to keep an eye on for next year, yeah, for
Mhm.
next year. So yeah, there you go for that one.
Mhm.
Then we got this. Future Lab announced their first DLC for Power House Simulator 2. It'll be out next spring.
Yep.
This is going to be Adventure Time.
Yep. I kind of figured that's gonna what was gonna happen.
Yeah. Which looks really good. It's I've never seen any Adventure Time. I played a couple of the games. Very much are the show that's it's kind of based off of games.
Mhm.
Kind of a lot of games vibes, especially like Zelda stuff and all that. But yeah, they look like they've got the kind of cell shaded stuff going on here. Kind of more match the show with all that. So yeah, that looks really neat. So yeah, that'll be out in the spring. $8 for it. A fun time.
Mhm.
Yeah, 5 new levels, and probably a decent amount of achievements and trophies for that. So yeah, that's cool to see. Looking
Mhm.
forward to that. Um,
Yep.
for that one.
Mhm.
Let's see. Yeah, we got Hollow Knight Silksong. Um,
Yeah.
and all they posted a bunch of news here in a big blog post, basically saying that the game has sold over 7 million copies in 3 months. So
Mhm.
they got their salaries paid for a while.
Yep.
Alongside that, they have an expansion that's coming called A
Mhm.
Sea of Sorrows.
Yep.
So if the game has not been hard enough for you or not had enough to do,
Mhm.
they're gonna have more for you. I think in a few months here. They think they said early next year for that. Yeah, I'm trying to see if they. Let's see. Yeah, they are talking about that. They put out a trailer for it. New areas, new bosses, and tools. So that'll be fun. It's free, so not
Mhm.
really paying for it, much like in the first game. They are including that stuff pro bono, but
Mhm.
yeah, we'll see how that goes. But yeah, they also mentioned that as an extra bonus, um, they are doing a new update for Hollow Knight itself. Particularly on the Switch, they'll be doing a Switch 2 edition free upgrade for people that have that on the Switch,
Mhm.
which I do because that was the first version available that I could grab, so I grabbed that and then played for a handful of hours and fell off of it.
Mhm.
Um, but the other stuff they're doing, which I think is also some accessibility stuff and some of the improvements they made for Silksong, they're going to be bringing back to Hollow Knight
Mhm.
for that. So the other versions will be getting that as well. So PlayStation, Xbox, and PC will also
Mhm.
be getting the improvements on that. So that's good to see.
Mhm.
Yeah, so a lot of good stuff coming for Hollow Knight fans. So that's good to see for the game that wrecked a bunch of teams' falls. So
Mhm.
yep, good to see. Um,
Yeah. I mean, considering how long they worked on that damn thing, I hope it sold a bunch.
yeah. So yeah, we'll don't have to worry about them for a while.
Mhm.
Let's see. Speaking of a studio that does have to worry about things, Santa Ragione
Mhm.
released Horses on Itch, Humble, and I think GOG. And they've mentioned that they have sold 18,000 copies of the game.
Mhm.
That's at the very least pays off their loans and um, royalties and such
Mhm.
for that. But not it is not enough to pay for the next game that they want to work
Yeah.
on. So
Yeah.
they've mentioned that yeah that they are most of the people in the studio have taken on new jobs.
Mhm.
Um, they've not left the studio, but they are sort of that they
Mhm.
need to keep uh, their own finances in decent shape.
Mhm.
As I say here, the money primarily covers obligations created by a prolonged end of development. If sales remain steady, we may be able to fund a new prototype in the future, but the team has had to and will continue to take other jobs and
Mhm.
projects in the meantime. Reuniting everyone will not be easy, even if it is something we would love. We also want to be clear about why this success does not erase the impact of what happened. The Steam ban and the development delays that followed forced us into a prolonged scramble for funding, with
Mhm.
debt, opportunity cost, and that fragmentation is a lasting consequence, even if the launch outcome has been meaningful and positive in important ways.
Mhm.
So yeah, they're basically saying like this did well enough to at least not leave them in poor financial shape, but it's not enough to uh, keep them continuing to work on games for the future. So
Mhm.
maybe this improves as word continues to get out about the game. The last game they worked on,
Mhm.
which is a shame. Was yeah, if you go look up their Steam developer page, they have a lot of good stuff there. A lot of interesting games that they worked on. Things like Saturnalia that came out I think in the last year or so. Games they have put out recently to summarize that. But yeah, they put out a bunch of interesting indie games that are also worth buying,
Mhm.
especially during the holiday sales going on Steam. I assume they have discounts on some of that stuff, so definitely worth
Mhm.
supporting the studio if you want. So that's some somewhat positive but also unfortunate news,
Mhm.
and we'll kind of continue going with that. As Keita Takahashi, creator of Katamari Damacy,
Mhm.
who has worked on a number of things after that, Nobi Nobi Boy, Wadum, and most recently to a T. They
Yeah.
said that to a T did poorly enough that he's had to move back to Japan. And
Mhm.
said he has had to find new schools for his kid uh,
Mhm.
to suit his needs there, which is a shame. Seems like he had been living in San Francisco.
Yeah.
I assume probably not in the city because that's a very expensive city to live in. So that would
Mhm.
explain why you need a game to do incredibly well to keep living in San Francisco. But yeah, as he said here, I don't think anyone tries to make a niche game. The title
Mhm.
niche game is just a result. I know my games are far from mainstream. I recently returned to Japan, and one of the reasons I had to do so was because To a T didn't sell well. This is a risk of being independent, and I'm willing to take it, but I don't think it's a question of niche or traditional. It's a question of whether people like it or not.
Mhm.
I believe there's still room for new ideas, and unfortunately, To a T just wasn't a good fit. But I think the
Eh.
situation is what it is.
Mm.
And then follows up, I wish I had the Katamari Damacy IP.
Mm-hmm.
I was saying here, anyway, I'm glad that the game and the characters are still loved today in many ways. I have some interesting ideas for Katamari Damacy that only I could come up with. I had
Mm.
the opportunity to work with Bandai Namco again. It would be a very interesting project.
Mm.
And it's like, that definitely would be cool to see.
Oh yeah.
Because mostly what they've been doing with it since he left is basically just more of the same for the
Yeah.
most part. A couple things have been like weird things, like when the Vita game where you can kind of use the touch screen to stretch it
Mm-hmm.
out. It's like, that's neat, but also a gimmick that's not going to be a future, a thing that's a core part of the franchise. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, uh, sad to see that the Tuati did poorly enough that he had to move back to Japan.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, wish him the best, and hopefully the next game does well.
Yeah, hopefully. All right. Yeah, let's hope that happens.
Yeah, he's one of the more interesting developers in Japan. So
Mm-hmm.
we'll see where that goes. But we got some acquisition news and
Mm-hmm.
some weird ones here. Ubisoft has acquired Amazon Games Montreal and the MOBA March of Giants that they're making.
Mm-hmm.
It's a free to play MOBA that I guess Amazon was no longer interested in supporting.
Yeah.
And so Ubisoft has acquired all of that, which is certainly weird when they're kind of in an awkward place where they spin off some of their properties into a different entity and
Yeah.
uh, trying to figure out where they can find successful games to make that will
Mm-hmm.
set them up for the future. They're buying a game that's, I would say, probably isn't going to do very well, but maybe they like the studio.
Mm-hmm.
It is a Montreal studio, so there are tax incentives involved in
Yep.
that. And maybe they merge them into Ubisoft Montreal at some point.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but certainly a weird little bit of acquisition here. And I guess as part of this agreement, Amazon is going to provide Ubisoft with marketing support for March of
Mm-hmm.
Giants on Twitch. So at least they don't seem like they'll be just paying for some Mr. Beast video that won't do
Mm-hmm.
shit for making marketable. We'll see where that goes, but yeah, Amazon divesting themselves of a studio and Ubisoft taking them on.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that'll work out for them. I don't know, but
Mm.
the MOBA genre is not one that is taking to new games super well at this point.
Yeah, not really.
They must be a cheaper team to acquire,
Mm-hmm.
I assume. So there you go on that one. We
Mm-hmm.
do have Bandai Namco's the other studio or company making some acquisition news.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly they are divesting themselves of Limbic Entertainment, selling them to a private investor that's
Yeah.
specializing in video games. I don't know what that is. That is a very mysterious kind of thing, but they acquired them in 2022.
Mm-hmm.
That's this is the studio that worked on the Park Beyond game.
Mm-hmm.
So a game that's kind of came and went, didn't really make a big splash or anything. But probably didn't do that poorly. But they are cutting some teams, selling them probably slimmed down in a way that they're just not laying off tons of people. I
Mm-hmm.
guess at least is a bonus thing, but hopefully that team doesn't suffer a lot for whatever this private investor is.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully it's not private equity or anything like that. So we'll see,
Yeah.
I guess. But that's a that's another weird one.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go.
Extremely. Yeah. Well, just not. It just weird. It's just like it don't make much sense right now.
We'll see where that goes.
Mm-hmm.
We do have some Sony news here. And it is Sucker Punch co-founder Brian Fleming
Yep.
is leaving the studio with two new heads, studio heads that are going to be appointed in his wake.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he's been with the studio since they were founded in 1998, I believe, when they
Mm-hmm.
worked on Rocket on Wheels for the N64.
Mm.
They got acquired by Sony in, I think, 2000 as they were working on Sly Cooper.
Yep.
Um, the two new heads. is Jason Connell, the co-creative director on the Ghost of Tsushima and Yote
Mm-hmm.
franchise, and Adrian Bentley, who's sort of their technical director, leads all
Mm-hmm.
their engineering and production efforts. And
Mm.
yeah, Nate Fox is still going to be there as co-creative director on whatever they're working on as well. So he's kind of
Yeah.
a third head there,
Yeah.
of sorts. But yeah, uh, not a huge surprise. Again, been there for 28 years. At that point,
Mm.
he's definitely a lot grayer than he used to be.
Yeah.
So he probably wants to, enjoy a break for a while and maybe work on something new or just enjoy the rest that comes with retirement.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this will be starting on January 1st, which is not too far away, a week and a half or so.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, uh, wish these guys the best, and hopefully goes to or Sucker Punch keeps doing great work.
Oh yeah. I'm convinced they will. They have not put out a bad game yet, really.
Yeah. Let's see here. Yeah, we got more Sony news.
Mm-hmm.
If you remember that lawsuit that Sony had against Tencent over the game Light of Motorum,
Mm-hmm.
they've reached a confidential settlement,
Yep.
and that's basically going to be the end of it, unless somebody leaks something about this. But
Yeah.
that would probably come with a lot of risk for financial penalties with
Definitely.
that. So I would assume this will end up being the end of it. So they've come to some sort of conclusion, and then we'll see if later Motorim has to go away for a while or go away for good.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
The statement that we got here from the head of communications for Tencent America says, yeah, Sony Interactive Entertainment and Tencent are pleased to have reached a confidential resolution and will have no further public comment on this matter. SIE and Tencent look forward to working together. So yeah, not really too
Mm-hmm.
much to add to that. Yeah, Light of Motorum
Yeah.
is no longer listed on Steam and the Epic Game Store, but the official site still has links to the former pages. So yeah, we don't know
Mm-hmm.
what the state of it is. Might be that
Yeah.
they're just gonna have to rework a lot of the visual style of that game
Mm-hmm.
for whenever they bring it back, but probably not coming out anytime soon. So that's gonna be the end of that for the time being. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
not really too surprised.
Yeah. Not surprised at all.
Mostly avoid any sort of messy information getting out there and
Mm-hmm.
wasting time with lawsuit stuff. That's probably paying them and have to do a lot of work. So,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, the next one here, the big backlash of the week,
Mm-hmm.
in the wake of announcing Divinity, the CEO of Larian, Sven Vink,
Yeah, Sven Bank.
was talking a bunch about the game and all that, and also as part of that, talking about the studio using AI
Mm.
tools to work on the game.
Yeah.
Um, which yeah, the way they were phrasing this stuff was pretty weird. Let's see where the original quote is here. Uh, he said the emerging technology hasn't led to quote unquote big gains in efficiency.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Larian has been pushing hard on Gen AI, with creators often using AI tools to explore ideas, flesh out PowerPoint presentations, which is a really fucking stupid
Mm-hmm.
thing to use AI for. Um,
Yeah.
Develop concept art, which is also not great, and write placeholder text, which is like placeholder text is just a really simple thing to write.
Mm-hmm.
You write a bunch of bullshit that means nothing so that it looks bad and you know to take it out at some point.
Mm.
Concept art, a lot of developers on like Blue Sky and Twitter and such were talking about this and showing their concept art, which
Mm-hmm.
looked like, stick figures and such,
Yeah.
because it's, you're mapping out the basic idea of what you want, the game to look like, UI stuff, characters,
Mm-hmm.
that kind of stuff. It doesn't have to be the thing you see in art books that come out after games launch
Hmm.
doesn't have to be that fully fleshed out art and all that. That's not something you do uh, right away all that often. I'm sure some games uh, do that, especially when you have really good artists that have an idea of what they're doing.
Hmm.
Um, a lot of stuff here just seems like really basic things that you would do at the start of a development anyway,
Yeah.
and sort of using AI to like I assume explore ideas is like looking for reference work for uh,
Mm.
locations and weapons and character ideas and all that kind of stuff. And it's like I guess, but you can also use Google for that.
Yeah.
There's also places, websites, and books and such that are all about that kind of stuff. But yeah, you said that there won't be any AI generated content in Divinity,
Hmm.
which is like, I don't, sure, but also you used AI to make the game.
Yeah.
That's where it's kind of just tainted from there. A lot of people have just been pushing back on this, dunking on Larian and Sven
Mm.
Binky because
Yeah.
he, at a certain point, had him, wiping his profile on Twitter to the
Yeah.
degree that I think somebody commented here. Did I just watch this guy remove his header, change his icon, and remove his bio the way people do on Discord when they're upset?
Mm.
Uh, yeah, another person. The CEO of Larry just pulled the "I'm 12 years old on MySpace. My internet girlfriend dumped me" move. I'm not kidding.
Hmm.
Uh, put a picture of his dog, I assume, as his profile picture, and remove the header and all that. Yeah, um, yeah. Responded to this whole thing with another post um, about this, and yeah, kind of started. I forget. I think the one post was on LinkedIn, something like that, where he was like, "Holy fuck, we are not using AI to make content in this game," kind of thing.
Hmm.
Kind of throwing it back at people for, yeah, holy fuck, guys, we're not pushing hard for replacing concept artists with AI. We have a team
Hmm.
of 72 artists, of which 23 are concept artists. We are hiring more. The art they create is original, and I'm very proud of what they do, and it kind of keeps going on. Um, we've hired creatives for their talent, not their ability to do what a machine suggests, but they can experiment with these tools to make their lives easier. And that's where you kind of get to the point of like, what are the point of having artists if they need AI to, make art, even if it's
Mm.
just on the idea side or reference side. And it's like I've seen artists talk about the need to use AI for as like a reference thing ends up creating a very stupid cycle of just perpetrating the awful way that AI art looks.
Yeah.
Um, I've seen artists that take commissions and such try to do like their own spin on AI generated art that they're presented with that they want their version of, and then
Hmm.
get thrown back like, no, I want it to look like this, and having to do the annoying thing of like make it look like the awful thing they're looking at because the
Hmm.
person doesn't have an eye for what quality looks like,
Yeah.
and it's like that's what a lot of AI art is it's stuff that looks bad if you scrutinize it,
Yeah.
but if you look at it, as you just if you glance over it, it looks okay.
Yeah. Superficially, it looks fine, but once you start like taking a moment to actually look at it, it starts to look incredibly, at best, uncanny.
Yeah, I saw like one of those displays of like a big Christmas tree like backdrop you could take pictures in front of. And I was like, pretty quickly, I was like, this looks like AI. And I
Hmm.
scrutinized it more, and it's like a Christmas tree where it has way too many like decorations on it, especially ones that are so close together they're kind of merging into each other and all that. And you see like a street behind it, with lamps on it and all that. And it was like these lamps are all not uniform the way they would be in the real world and all that. And it's like, yeah, this is awful looking sort of thing to take pictures in front of, but it's a backdrop for
Mm-hmm.
a photo. You know,
Yeah.
we took up pictures as kids in front of a lot of that kind of shit, and that at least had somebody had to create it.
Yeah.
If it was not just like neutral colors kind of thing, but yeah. Now you don't even have to have the artist. You just make some bullshit on AI and blow it up into a big
Mm-hmm.
fucking giant image that looks real bad.
Yep.
It's a bad place we're in, but yeah, the the reaction to Divinity was really positive, and then the CEOs talking about the stuff they're doing going into it. You
Mm-hmm.
know, it's still going to be a turn-based RPG like the original Sin in Baldur's Gate 3 is. I'm
Yeah.
assuming it's going to be very similar to what Baldur's Gate 3 was, but their own thing. And
Mm-hmm.
as but the more details on this just kind of really soured a lot of people on this. And then you had
Mm.
a number of people that were either applying for the studio and seeing how uh, convoluted their hiring process is, which is not uncommon in studios. They want to run you through a lot of stuff if you're doing, you know, technical work or writing work or
Mm.
artwork or any of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I think the other one was about sexual harassment allegations that they did not handle very well.
Yeah.
And so it's like, yeah, you kind of invited all this talking about AI in this way that's gotten people to feel more confident and be able to talk negatively about a studio that was an indie darling
Yeah.
not 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like that's kind of what happens if you don't take your work and your uh, audience's expectations seriously.
Mm-hmm.
Because yeah, in the gaming space, I've seen studies suggesting that there is definitely a huge negativity around AI.
Mm-hmm.
Fans don't want to see it, and especially in like the D&D space. People love getting their characters, you know, getting custom art for that stuff from artists and doing all that kind of fun stuff.
Yeah.
Um, Obviously, you're seeing a big blow up in getting shows and podcasts and streams and such of various campaigns being done
Mm-hmm.
by voice actors to art actors and streamers and just a huge variety of people. Not really
Mm-hmm.
the sort of environment you want to dip into AI so casually, but that seems like what the CEO of Larian is suggesting they are doing.
Mm-hmm.
Even had the gall to say like, "Oh, everybody's fine with using this AI," and I was like, "Yeah, I don't think
No.
that's true.
No.
That sounds really made up. Like everybody's having a good time here," and it's like, no, there's never 100% positivity on anything a company does when you have so many
Yeah.
people working for it.
Yeah. Like let me be completely honest here. I've played around with generative AI too. And it can be fun, but it's slop.
Yeah,
Like I mean that's it, that's all it is. It's just slop. It can be fun slop, but it's still slop and it's definitely nothing you should have to pay for.
yeah. And it's in the work environment. It feels like something that you have to use with a an eye on what you have to fix up
Mhm.
around it because it's never going to do perfect work. Um, and that's kind of the issue for a lot of people is like we've seen so many games and studios kind of slipping with so-called temporary art being left in the games, and it's like, yeah, you don't really create art like this as like something that's going to get replaced versus making something garish that is obviously noticeable versus something that looks like it's supposed to be final art that you're just hoping nobody notices. And there's plenty of people out there that are going to notice this stuff because they are going to pay attention when studios seem to not be dead set against using it. We're seeing at least a lot of indie studios are talking about how they're not making games with AI. They have zero interest in it, and that's at least the space that hopefully stays vigilant on that because the big studios certainly are not shying away from it when you see Call of Duty
Mm-hmm.
and other big games making use of it.
Mm-hmm.
Even Player Obscure Expedition 33 was using it.
Yeah,
They patched out the stuff that people noticed, but I would not be surprised if there's more in that.
possibly.
But all the excessive praise with the Game of the Year stuff, certainly not going to shine any less of a light on that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the one thing that sours the.
Mm.
But yeah, I don't know if you have anything else to add on Divinity and
Not really.
what this affects your interest in that.
Not terribly, to be honest.
Yeah,
Uh, like I mean, just it's it does a little bit, but not enough that it's turned me off the game completely.
at least not yet.
No, not yet. They still got a ways to go
Really
for that to
seen
happen.
anything from the game.
Yeah,
We've just seen a very gross cutscene.
yeah.
So yeah, there's still time on that. That's probably at least a few years away at this point, but we'll see how if they can figure out a way to navigate this a bit more intelligently than they have been this past week.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go for that, and let's get to another shitty thing here. Mod Retro announced a new version of their Game Boy Color device.
Mm-hmm.
I forget what they call these things. Chromatic, I guess. The
Mm-hmm.
Chromatic device. They announced a new version that is using metal from attack drones. The thing you may need to know is that Mod Retro is a company run by former Oculus founder Palmer Luckey,
Yeah.
who also, after leaving Oculus, founded a company called Anduril, which is named after the sword from The Lord of the Rings, because all of these pieces of shit people are also nerds and
Mm-hmm.
dorks that seemingly can't stop referencing Lord of the Rings. Because Peter Thiel has his own company that's named after a Lord of the Rings thing.
Mm-hmm.
So they're using the same metal that Anduril used for its attack drones to make Game Boy Colors, essentially, which is disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's essentially saying like, oh, this is cool. This is metal used for something completely different. It's like, yeah, metal for drones that trying to kill people.
Mm-hmm.
Probably not used versions of it, but yeah, it's a thing that's if you did not know about Mod Retro, any of the stuff they've been doing, uh, that's
Mm-hmm.
uh that's what that is. It's essentially a fascist Game Boy Color.
Yep.
Concerned about like the Analog Pocket or any of the other uh sort of FPGA versions of the Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, any of that stuff. Uh, Stay away from Mod Retro
Mm-hmm.
because Palmer Luckey is using his money to fund all this and probably sending all that money to kill people in the Middle East and harass people at the border here in the U.S. and all that. They have government contracts and all that. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's a thing we should be against in the gaming community. If you do not like any of the stuff going on with ICE, Palmer Luckey supports that shit
Mm-hmm.
because it helps make him money. And unfortunately, you got some things going on here that are not great. So yeah, kind of a
Mm.
thing I wanted to point out for people.
Yeah.
Because yeah, I was initially like interested in these kind of things, and then I heard about the Palmer Luckey things. It's like, ooh, all right, never mind on any of that shit.
Mm-hmm.
And especially be skeptical of people that are covering this stuff and ignoring all that or washing it away like it's not a
Mm-hmm.
big deal. Yeah, that's a fun thing. But yeah, let's get to something a little bit better here. It is almost the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be doing Game of the Year stuff next week. I think we got some articles that have been going up here uh, by the time you see this from some of the people that write here as we get our Game of the Year stuff finalized. And yeah, we'll talk about what is going to be coming out here in the early part of next year, January,
Mm.
February, and March, because there's quite a bit coming out. that is worth keeping an eye on.
Mm-hmm.
And for January, there's not much coming out in the first week,
Yeah.
which is not surprising.
Mm-hmm.
But we do start picking up here on the 8th. There's I Am Future, a game that's been on
Yep.
PC for a bit,
Mm-hmm.
but it's coming to consoles on PS5, Xbox, and Switch,
Mm.
which looks nice. I guess they're about, or no, they have announced their new game since then.
Mm-hmm.
This is December 9th, so. But that game looks neat, so that's when you can keep an eye on for early part of the year.
Mm-hmm.
On the 9th, Pathologic 3 will be
Mm-hmm.
out for PC. That's one of those games that, if you need a PC game that will be very depressing, Pathologic series is perfect for you. That's
Mm-hmm.
a lot of what their charm is there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they'll have PS5 and Xbox versions later on in the year, I assume, but
Mm-hmm.
the PC version will be out near the start of the year, so that's one to keep an eye on.
Mm-hmm.
Then we got Code Violets for the PS5 on the
Mm-hmm.
10th. This is a third-person action horror game
Yeah.
featuring dinosaurs, some other stuff. So yeah, very much looks like they're trying to do a bit of Dino Crisis with a bit more sci-fi future stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that looks like that could be neat from
It could be.
the stuff they're showing.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that to keep an eye on. The 12th is probably the first big game that I'm interested in. Big Hops.
Yeah.
This is an indie 3D platformer that they are doing a lot of fun stuff here. You play as a frog, and they've kind of built out a pretty good uh, repertoire of moves here that you can use to get
Mm-hmm.
around, and things that you can kind of do some really cool stuff when you get better with it. There's a
Mm.
demo on Steam for this, but it'll be coming to PS5, Switch, and PC
Mm-hmm.
at launch for $20. So if you're looking for a really neat looking 3D platformer, this is one to keep an eye on. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that one looks really neat. I backed it on the Kickstarter, so I'll be getting a code for that soon. First big game of the year is coming on the 15th with Animal Crossing New Horizons, Nintendo Switch 2 edition. They're putting out a big update to go alongside this, and it's the cheapest of the Switch 2 editions they've done because it is a $5 upgrade if you own the base game on the Switch. 65 bucks if you don't for that. So that's going to be adding a number of new things. Yeah, they're improving the resolution to support 4K in TV mode. Uh, Frame rate still seems to be capped at 30 frames per second, but should be a smooth 30 now because I think that's one of those games that ran fine enough, but definitely could chug at times depending on how much shit you had around on your
Yeah.
island. Support mouse controls. You can yell into the mic for residents to call them to you. I guess if you're want to be annoying, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Support 12-player online sessions, and you can also play with the camera stuff, so people can see you while you're doing your thing on the island. So yeah, they also have a big
Mm-hmm.
update. It's going to add a new hotel to mess around with. Yeah, some more accessibility stuff. Rossetti has his own service called Reset Service to tidy up your island.
Mm-hmm.
More storage space for all your crap. There's a slumber island they're adding, so you can see other people's islands and designs and such, as well as the ability to collaborate with a number of new Nintendo items. They're going to add NES consoles that I guess if you have a Nintendo Switch Online edition or a
Mm-hmm.
Nintendo Switch Online membership, play some NES games in there.
Mm-hmm.
Cool, but also a lame version of what they did in the first game.
Mm-hmm.
Because you did not need to have a subscription to play those NES games.
Nope.
But here you do, because
Yeah.
why not?
Mm-hmm.
That looks like a pretty good upgrade there. Also on the 15th, Cassette Boy is out for PlayStation, Xbox, Switch, and PC. This is a neat
Mm-hmm.
looking puzzle action RPG, they call it here. Basically, you got kind of a very retro aesthetic to this, and the neat like hook here is that when you're trying to solve puzzles, what you can't see doesn't exist. So if you see obstacles, if you have a wall nearby, you can turn it so that the wall covers up the obstacle, and then you can just walk right past it.
Mhm.
And it plays around with that kind of mechanic there to let you get past obstacles and such, which is a really neat looking thing. So yeah,
Mhm.
that looks pretty neat for that one. So we got the also on the 15th, another big game, The Legend of Heroes: Trails Beyond the Horizon.
Yep.
It'll be out on PS5, PS4, Switch, Switch 2, and PC.
Mhm.
So that's the newest new game
Yep.
out in Japan since September of.
Yeah, and once this comes out, we'll be all caught up. Like because starting with the remakes of the original Trails in the Sky, those all come out more or less at the same time.
Yeah,
So we're talking about they're having an international schedule now. So
yeah, yeah, and now you'll just have like 1,000 hours of games to play now,
mhm,
catch up. So yeah, looking neat. Let's see. We got the 20th. We got Mio Memories in Orbit. This is a Metroid game.
mhm,
I did a video on the demo. Cool. Plays pretty well. Got a
mhm,
bit of Hollow Knight to it with some other stuff going. Definitely one to keep an eye on. That's PS5, Switch, Switch 2, Xbox, and PC on January
mhm.
20th. $20 game.
Yeah.
One to keep. Then on the 22nd, we got a few games here. Arc Knight's Endfield will
Mhm,
be out. This is their gotcha game.
mhm,
Free to play 3D that had a big trailer at the Game Awards.
mhm,
So that looks like a one of those.
mhm,
Doesn't seem like it's going to be too big of a surprise for the way it works. It's
mhm,
set in the universe of Arc Knights. They did.
mhm,
So yeah, got some new stuff there. Let's see. Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade will finally be coming out on Xbox and Switch too.
mhm.
So people on those platforms can finally experience the Final Fantasy VII Remake story and the
Yeah.
new expansion. Happy for them to finally be able to check
Mhm.
that out.
Yeah.
Then they'll be ready for Rebirth, which will take 500 hours to beat.
Mhm.
A game that never wants to end. But also on the 22nd, there's an RPG that you might be able to beat pretty easily. Hermit and Pig. This is
Mm.
a turn-based adventure RPG that seems like it's got some heavy Earthbound vibes to it. For that, so they got a demo on Steam if you want to check it out. But yeah, this looks like it's got some nice stuff going on here. But yeah, PC for now.
Mhm.
And then we got Escape from Ever After on the 23rd. This is a Paper Mario style RPG coming to PlayStation, Xbox, Switch, and PC. Looks neat. Got some nice stuff going on there. Let's see. We got High Guard, the newest game, or the new game from a new studio that is made up of Respawn, uh, former Respawn workers. That
Mhm.
worked on Apex Legends and Titanfall. Got announced as like the final thing at the Game Awards. Looks neat. That's going to be a free to play multiplayer shooter.
Mhm.
What they call a raid first person shooter, because I think there's more things to do in the environment besides just shooting people,
Mhm.
which could be a pretty cool twist. We'll see.
Yeah. We'll see. Because that trailer they put out was pretty neat, very suggestive of a lot of stuff that is in the game. Um, we'll see. Have to see how it actually plays, though.
Yeah, I assume they'll put out some more footage and all that in the next few weeks. But yeah, as free to play, no harm in checking for that. So that's one to keep an eye on. Then on the 28th, another free to play game comes out, The Seven Deadly Sins Origin,
Mhm.
for PS5, PC, and mobile. A big open world action RPG. Probably with some gotcha stuff. I don't know. I don't know what they're charging for, but this is based on the anime world. I think it's
Mhm.
a prequel to it. What the story is. Let's see. Vivid reimagining of the world and experience. A brand new original story set within the familiar universe of the Seven Deadly Sins. So I don't know.
Mm.
I haven't watched the anime, so I'm not sure if this is a. I thought I saw something about a prequel of sorts, but hey, you'll be able to do all the fun stuff, fishing, cooking meals,
Yeah.
explore the world with friends, and all that. So that could be fun.
Mhm.
Also on the 28th, Steel Century Groove, a new looking indie game here. Uh, yeah, set in a world where mechas once used for war are now used for dance battles.
Mhm.
And so you got that fun. It's a rhythm RPG kind of thing. So
Mhm.
that looks really neat. The style looks nice. So yeah, they have a built-in soundtrack, but you can also bring your own MP3s to this. It's a PC game
Mhm.
for now, so that looks neat. On the 29th, we got Cairn that finally is going to be out.
Mhm.
This has gotten delayed a few times, but this is the new game from the Game Bakers. It's made a bunch of cool games like Haven and Fury.
Mhm.
This is their new one, which is about uh, rock climbing, with a more survival bent to it. So
Mhm.
I'm looking forward to that. That's on PS5 and PC.
Mhm.
Let's see, $30 for the pre-order, $27 for the pre-order, 10% launch discount. So you get a little discount for launch if you want to check it out. I'm
Mhm.
looking forward to this one. The games look pretty good.
Yeah.
Also on the 29th, Don't Stop Girly Pop. This is a kind of a retro style first person shooter, but with a lot of, as you might guess from the title, like Y2K girly pop style to it. Like an arena style movement
Mhm.
shooters, they call it here. So yeah, where you can't stand still. The faster you go, the more damage you deal, and the more you heal. Just don't stop moving.
Mhm.
Uh, which sounds like a neat twist on your first person shooter formula. So that's one to keep an eye on. That's on PS5, Xbox, Switch, and PC. Or no,
Mhm.
that was just PC. Sorry. The next one here on the 29th, I Hate This Place. It's the new game from Bloober Team.
Mhm.
Or no, this is Broken Mirror Games. I thought this was tight. No, this is the new from Skybound Games. That's what. PS5, Xbox, Switch, and PC. Yeah, this is like an open world horror game.
Mhm.
Doing a lot of crafting, uh, doing stuff during the day, uh, to survive the night time. Kind of got that kind of stuff going on there. So to it. That's the 30th has Code Vein 2, the anime Souls like finally gets a sequel. That'll be on PS5, Xbox, and PC. For you to check out. And then the last one for January is 2XKO that doesn't have a date yet, but was just announced for PS5 and Xbox at the Game Awards. So we'll probably have a date for that pretty soon. But that's your January. Got a good amount of stuff coming out. So anything there you're looking forward to, Brandon?
Uh, well, the most obvious one, of course, is Trails Beyond the Horizon. That's like the big one. But also Code Violet looks kind of neat. Mio looks a little neat, looks neat as well. Um, let's see. High Guard, maybe. I still kind of need to be convinced a little bit on that one. Uh, and that's about it.
I think for me, probably the big ones here is Big Hops. I probably also get Animal Crossing because it's points in skipping that since I have some eShop credit left over for that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I may check Mio out as well because that looks really forward to that one, and probably check out High Guard because it's free. Harmon playing some matches of that, and may also check out Seven Deadly Sins for the same reason, free to play. Karen's probably the other game I'm really looking forward to for this month, so got some stuff there.
Mm-hmm.
For February, we got a bunch of stuff here. Despite it being the shortest month, it still has a bunch here coming out. On the first, Star Sand Island. This is one of the more noteworthy life sims that have been uh, coming out in the near future.
Mm-hmm.
They've been talking about this a bunch. It'll be on PS5, Xbox, Switch 2, and PC
Mm-hmm.
for that. So yeah, it's got an anime style to it, but does a lot of the things you would expect there. On the 5th, Dragon Quest VII Reimagined will be out, so you can
Mm-hmm.
finally have another chance at playing Dragon Quest VII 3DS remake.
Yep.
This is another one of those.
Yep.
Maybe this will be the one that gets people excited for Dragon Quest VII.
I hope.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. But I am
Uh,
loving like the aesthetic they're going for, the kind of vaguely doll-like aesthetic that they're leaning into.
yeah, and they literally made dolls for modeling these characters.
Mhm.
I saw some behind the scenes stuff for that. On the 6th, we got Neo 3 will be out, which will have some more stuff going on there because I think they added a new class with the ninja, I believe.
Mhm.
This is a big thing, a bit more nimble kind of class for that game.
Mhm.
So that's another good Neo game and what
Mhm.
your Souls likes there. Then on the 10th, we got Mugenics will finally be out. It's a game that's been in the works for several years now.
Mhm.
From Edmund McMillan of Team Meat fame for Super Meat Boy,
Mhm.
um, and Tyler Glale, who's worked on a bunch of stuff on his own. He worked with Edmund on The End Is Nigh, but also worked on his own games. But yeah, this looks really neat. It's like a roguelike um, tactical game, but you're breeding cats that can have all sorts of weird abilities and such that they inherit and develop and all that. It's got a really nice style
Mhm.
to it and all that. So yeah, that could be a pretty cool looking game. It's been one of those indie
Mhm.
games that people have been looking forward to for a while. So there's that. Let's see, the 11th, Lost and Found Co. will be out on PC. This is an indie game, sort of a hidden object kind of game to it.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think you help Ducky, a duck turned human intern at Goddess May's company, a magical startup dedicated to finding lost items for its quirky townspeople.
Mhm.
So yeah, you kind of play a weird little hidden object game that showed up in one of the cozy showcases. So that looks nice. But in the opposite direction, there's Romeo is a Dead Man, also coming out on
Mhm.
the 11th, which is a Suda 51 Grasshopper game that is doing everything you expect out of that. Very ultra violent sci-fi action game
Mhm.
of sorts, coming to PS5, Xbox, and PC. And that's one of those games where I think Suda 51 was basically posting how they are not using AI about this. They fucking hate
Mhm.
AI, so good to see. Let's see, the 12th we got BlazBlue Entropy Effect X. This is sort
Mhm.
of a side-scrolling action game, roguelike kind of thing that looks pretty neat. Coming to PlayStation 5, Xbox, and Switch on the 12th. Yeah,
Mhm.
so that's cool. If you are not into BlazBlue for the fighting game stuff, this might be more up your alley. Get you a bit more, get you an opportunity to check out the fighting game.
Mhm.
Also out on the 12th, Chromagun 2, Die Hard. That's die as in colors. That's a portal like, but
Mhm.
using a gun that changes colors around on
Mhm.
things. So that could be pretty cool. Um,
Yeah.
the first game was pretty cool, so that'll be fun to see.
Mhm.
Also on the 12th, Mario Tennis Fever will be out for the Switch too, which is could be cool. I don't know. It look like
Mhm.
it look like the way the more recent Mario Tennis games have been, which is okay.
Mhm.
Not as cool as the original ones, but could be all right. We'll see where that hits.
Mhm.
That's I think Nintendo's first original game for 2026. So
Mhm.
we'll see if that one hits. If not, I would not be surprised.
Mhm.
Also on the 12th, Yakuza Kiwami 3 and Dark Ties. Remaster of the original Yakuza 3 with some extra content in it. That looks like it's going to be a pretty cool game. This is one of I think it was the first PS3 game in the series
Mhm.
that, because of the way they weren't really localizing these anytime soon after they came out, kind of fell by the wayside whenever it finally came over, but picked up more favor recently when they've been putting out collections of these games. This is one of those ones that just got a very bare bones kind of upgrade, but now they're doing more work to it, so that should be
Mhm.
pretty cool. Let's see, on the
Yeah.
13th, we got High on Life 2. Finally, what we've all been waiting for. That's on PS5, Xbox, PC, and Game Pass. And also on the 13th is Reanimal, the game from the Little Nightmares team. Though they're kind of making another Little Nightmares-esque kind of game with this, so if you are interested in that, that's one to keep an eye on. Let's see, also on the 13th, Rune Factory Guardians of Azuma is coming to PS5 and Xbox. This is a Switch 2 exclusive, but now it's coming to the other consoles for people to check
Mhm.
out, so there you go. We get a little break here until the 19th when a bunch of games come out.
Mhm.
There's Death Howl, the new game from 11-Bit Studios and the developer The Outer Zone, where they're making a very interesting style of game that they call a Souls-like deck builder,
Mhm.
which is a pretty neat idea. I've seen a little bit of this, and that's definitely an interesting idea for this kind of thing. So that one could
Mhm.
be interesting. It'll be PC exclusive, or no, it's been PC exclusive since it launched December 9th.
Mhm.
But this will be on PS5, Xbox, and Switch for the 19th. So I guess that'll also be on Game Pass when it launches. So
Mhm.
there's that. Demon Tides will be out on PC on the 19th.
Mhm.
I think it'll get a Switch version later on in the year. But this is the same team that is working on Bubsy 4.
Mhm.
And so if you like the look of that demo, this is probably a game to check out in the meantime.
Yeah. Mhm.
Very colorful and very fun looking. So yeah,
Mm.
there's that. There's Showgunners here. It's also on the 19th. This is a turn-based tactical game. It's been out on PC for a while, but it's coming to consoles, PlayStation, Xbox, on the 19th for $34.99. So you can check that one out. Has a really nice look to it. Then like a dystopian future kind of thing.
Yep.
Let's see. Also on the 19th, Styx, Blades of Greed, a new game in this series,
Mhm.
where you're playing as like a little goblin in a stealth game. Um,
Mhm.
so yeah, that one's finally coming out. It's supposed to be out this fall, but it ended up getting delayed. So that's one to look forward to if you want a stealth game. What else we got here? Also on the 19th, Wizman's World Retry. We talked about this a few weeks ago when I got a date. This is a DS JRPG that's getting a remake of sorts to rework it for TV screens. It'll be on PlayStation 5, PS4, Switch, and PC for the West for the first time, so people will be able to check it out, which is cool. It has a really nice look to it, and yeah, should work pretty well. So
Mhm.
that's one to keep an eye on. Then we also got let's see, the 20th Ease X Proud Nordics, the sort of expanded version of Ease X Nordics, I think it was.
Mhm.
Finally coming out in the West for PS5, Switch 2, and PC. So they had some new stuff to this for people to check out. So there you go for that. The 24th, Tides of Tomorrow. This is a game that showed up in a couple showcases that
Mhm.
has a nice look to it.
Oh yeah.
PS5, Xbox, and PC. Kind of first-person adventure game with like a kind of an online system where you can see other people on the run you're working on, and you can kind of potentially see where they ended up and to avoid obstacles that they might be falling into a trap or something like that kind of stuff, which is neat. We'll see if this one turns out well. Yes, from the studio that made Road 96, so another kind of narrative game. So it has a bit more action going on to it, so it looks like that could be pretty neat. So there's that. That's a February game.
Mhm.
Then yeah, nearing the end of the month, No Sleep for Kaname Date from AI The Somnium Files is coming to PlayStation and Xbox. That was
Mhm.
a Switch to launch game. So unsurprisingly, is coming to other platforms at some point.
Mm.
We also got Tokyo Extreme Racer, which has been on PC for a couple years now. Is finally coming to consoles with PS5 being the first platform here.
Mm.
That's yeah, a franchise that has not been around for quite a while, so we're finally getting a new one, and people will be able to check it out on console. So that's
Mm.
cool. Yeah, set in sealed off future Tokyo, where people are just going to be racing all over the place. So that's cool. And yeah, for the final day of the 27th, Resident Evil Requiem will be out for PS5, Xbox, Switch 2, and PC. Finally, Resident Evil 9, featuring Grace Ashcroft, from the daughter of the character from Resident Evil Online. I forget what that one was called. And also Leon S. Kennedy will be in the game as sort of the other main character you're playing as at some point. So, yeah, that could be pretty cool. It's got a lot of hype for it. People are kind of excited for the dual
Mm.
protagonist thing, especially since
Mm.
their gameplay is going to play a bit differently.
Yeah.
Grace's is more like 7 and 8s, whereas
Mm-hmm.
Leon's is more like Resident Evil 4.
Yep.
And he's hoping it's not going to be like Resident Evil 6, where things went poorly.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But that one's looking cool. Then we're also ending February with Tales of Berseria remastered, because Bandai Namco has no ideas for a new game that's coming out anytime soon, so they're just remastering old ones. But ones that still came out on the platforms that are currently available, because this was PS3 and PS4.
Mm-hmm.
So you can technically, if you got the digital edition, play it the original version and this enhanced edition
Mm-hmm.
on the same platform.
Mm.
This is on PS5, Xbox, Switch, and PC. I've not seen what the performance of this is, but I would not be surprised if this is still locked to 30 FPS,
Yeah.
like they have
Probably.
for some of the other remasters they've been doing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they're just kind of going through the motions on this stuff. They're not going for remastering the early, like, earliest games in the franchise. They're just like, which ones won't take too long to do?
Mm-hmm.
Ones that are like 10 years old at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there you go. That's your February. So what stuff here has your interest, Brandon?
Well, let's see. Probably the first big one is the Dragon Quest VII Reimagined. Um, just because I love the look they're going for. Neo 3 also because I love the first two Neo games. Um, especially the first one. Let's see. Romeo is a Dead Man, probably because it's a Suda 51 joint. Um, and just I love the weirdness that goes into his work. Let's see. Let's see. Death Howl looks neat. Demon Tides also looks really neat. Showgunners looks interesting. I'm gonna need a bit more, see a little bit more before I'm convinced to try it. Um, and Resident Evil Requiem definitely also. I don't really need the remaster of Tales of Berseria because I already played it.
Yeah,
um, and I liked it back when it originally came out, but you know,
yeah,
I don't need to play it again.
yeah. So yeah, for me, I would probably say I'm curious about Mugenics. I want to see what that is, how
hmm
that's turned out. I might be interested in Romeo is the Dead
hmm
Man. I'm not dug into too much of Suda 51's work or Grasshopper's work in this kind
hmm
of the action space.
Yeah.
But I might jump in on this one, especially because I think it's a $50 game,
hmm
so not as expensive as a lot of stuff that has been coming out.
mm
Um, as for anything else here, Demon Tides, I might be uh looking to check out. Um, that looks
mm
3D platformer kind of game. But yeah, I'm not sure. If there's anything else here, Wizmans I might check out, but that might be like a sale game. Check out.
hmm
Maybe it's a little cheaper, but yeah, not too much here, but I've still got plenty big of a deal. March, a little bit smaller here, but still has plenty of stuff here. We started on the 5th with 3 games of note. Coffee Talk Tokyo will finally be out. That is
mm
the third game in that little indie franchise there.
Mhm.
Set in is this more future Tokyo, or is it just regular Tokyo?
I think it's more future Tokyo.
Okay, but it's also sort of a version of Tokyo with a lot of more fantastical races to them.
Mhm.
Uh, ogres and cat people and that kind of stuff. So yeah, that looks fun. We got Nevergrave, The Witch and the Curse. This is maybe not a great title, but it's a 2D roguelike action game that
Mhm.
looks pretty neat. PS5, Xbox, PS4, Switch, and PC
Mm.
for $17 base price. So going a little cheaper there. Um, that looks pretty nice. I think it was on the State of Play Japan showcase,
Mhm.
which is nice. What else we got here? Pokemon Pokopia is the other game coming out that week on the
Mhm.
5th. If you like Pokemon and want to see a Ditto essentially doing like a Harvest Moon kind of thing, or setting up a little town for Pokemon, other Pokemon
Mhm.
to hang out and do stuff, and you kind of pick up abilities out of that as your a weird Ditto that has taken on a human form
Mhm.
and is able to keep it, I guess. So yeah, this is a weird looking game, but could be pretty neat. But it's also a $70 game, which seems a little much for what this game seems. Could be cool, but maybe one I wait for a discount. Though, being a Pokemon game, that's
Mhm.
probably not going to be coming very often.
Yeah.
So that might be a tricky thing. Then we got some more stuff coming out on the 12th. 5 games coming out that day. Fatal Frame 2 Crimson Butterfly remake. Yeah, they're remaking the second game in that franchise and going to be making
Mhm.
more accessible for PS5, Xbox, Switch 2, and PC players with this one. So that could be pretty cool. There's Replaced. That's supposedly going to be out. That's an Xbox and PC game that got announced quite a while ago.
Mhm.
Uh, I'll say back in 2022, something like that. But it's been getting like an update every year that's like, oh, it's not coming out this year. It'll be out next year, kind of thing. And they finally put a date. Seems like it's going to actually happen, and it's got a really nice style to it. Kind of a retro, futuristic, kind of voxely. That looks like that could be pretty neat. So yeah, Roadout is also coming out that day. This is what if you made legally distinct Mad Max with some more fantastical stuff to it. A Bear Man. So
Yep.
this looks like it's got like a 2.5D kind of thing going on.
Mhm.
Really nice look to it, and yeah, that could be pretty cool.
Mhm.
So yeah, there you go. That's
Oh yeah.
let's see. Yeah, they got an Xbox demo. Also on the 12th, R-Type Tactics 1 and 2 Cosmos. This is a thing that's been in the works for a while now. Um,
Mhm.
it's just been delayed, but finally seems like it's going to be releasing.
Mm.
So yeah, they got first two R-Type Tactics games, which are very cool. What if we did R-Type as like a turn-based game? And it
Mhm.
worked better than people thought it would. They're doing a collection of those two games on the modern platforms. PlayStation, Xbox, Switch 2, Switch, and PC.
Mhm.
So yeah, that could be one to keep an eye on. And then the last game on March 12th is John Carpenter's Toxic Commando,
Yep.
the multiplayer shooter, co-op multiplayer shooter, very much like taking influence from Left 4 Dead and that kind of stuff. Though with the John Carpenter touch, so it's a bit over the top and focused on gore and such. So we got a lot of interesting stuff going.
Mhm.
That'll be on PS5, Xbox, and PC. The 13th has a big game, Monster Hunter Stories 3, Twisted Reflection. It'll be out on PS5, Xbox, Switch 2, and PC. So another Monster Hunter sort of uh, monster collecting game.
Mhm.
But now on everything, instead of the delayed releases they've done for the first two games, where there were Switch exclusives, 3DS and Switch exclusives on platforms. They're doing
Mhm.
everything at once, and that looks like that could be pretty good.
Mhm.
Let's see. Then we got the 19th. We got three games here. Crimson Desert is releasing for
Mm.
PS5, Xbox, and PC. You got your big open world action adventure game kind of thing going on here.
Yep.
It's been in a lot of showcases for the last few years. Then we got also, let's see, Dynasty Warriors 3 Complete Edition Remastered.
Mm-hmm.
Boy Tecmo pulled we got to remaster an old Dynasty Warriors game
Mm-hmm.
to keep the fans happy, and they picked one that seems to be very beloved by the fans, so that's cool. PS5, Xbox, Switch 2, Switch, and PC. That looks like that could be pretty good. Let's see, also on the 19th, Mouse PI for Hire for
Mm.
PlayStation,
Yep.
Xbox, Switch, and PC. So that one's been delayed a bit here and there, but finally is coming out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I've been anticipating it for a while. Um,
Yeah,
because it's like, yeah, we're gonna do like the rubber hose animation thing they did for Cuphead, but we're gonna make it a first-person shooter. And I was like, all right, I want to see how this works out. And honestly, what they've done with the game is pretty amazing. So yeah, I'm definitely excited for this one.
yeah, looks really neat. Then we got the 26th. We got Etrange Overworld. This is a neat looking game that NIS America is publishing in the West.
Mm-hmm.
They call it a musical action adventure game.
Mm-hmm.
That looks got an interesting look to it. Yeah, basically, yeah, a Strange von Rosenberg is swiftly executed as she's been falsely accused of assassinating the king. So she's appeared in hell and decides to try to take over hell. Got a little bit of fun stuff there. And yeah, it comes from the creator of Disgaea and Rhapsody, a musical adventure. So
Mm-hmm.
seems to be mixing both of those pretty well
Yeah.
into a new thing. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
looks like what you would expect. So there you
Yeah.
go. And the other game we got coming out on the 26th is Screamer.
Yep.
I don't know if you would call this a remake or just a new version of uh, the 90s racing game. Um,
Yep.
Especially they're focusing on more of an anime aesthetic for the vehicles and environments and
Yep.
all that,
Mm-hmm.
which is a nice look. Yeah, so that one looks like it's like it could be pretty cool. We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
But at the very least, the developer is Milestone, who makes some pretty solid racing games. So
Mm.
that could be a surprising game. So we'll see where that goes. And then we got the 27th, where 007 First Light will finally be
Mm.
out. That'll be PS5, Xbox, Switch 2, and PC. I'm looking forward to that one. Looks really nice. And as we mentioned earlier, Mega Man Star Force Legacy Collection is also out on the 27th. So there's that. And then, as we also mentioned, Marathon is out in March. We just don't have a date, but we know that is going to happen. And that's your March. Kind of a little lighter just because it's 3 months away, so we still have time for more announcements to happen for that. But we do have a decent amount of stuff here announced. So, Brandon, what have you?
Well, Coffee Talk Tokyo is probably a really big one because I loved the first two Coffee Talk games, and I'm glad to be back in that series again. Nevergrave also looks pretty neat. Let's see. Road Out looks kind of neat as well. We'll see how that goes. Mouse PI for Hire, again, amazed with what they've been doing with that game. I can't wait to play it. Screamer also looks really cool. Um, and 007 First Light, I'll probably, when I get around to it, I'm definitely going to because, damn, it looks amazing.
Yeah. For me, yeah, Nevergrave looks neat, so I might check that one out.
Hmm.
Probably Mouse PI for Hire. That one just looks really, really nice. Screamer would be nice to check out. Might not get to it for till later the year when it gets some discounts. Because 007 First Light is probably the main game I want for the month. Because
Hmm.
IO does really great work, especially since the recent Hitman trilogy
Hmm.
started, and they're doing a lot of cool stuff with this to take a lot of what has worked for Hitman as a stealth kind of game, and evolving it for a Bond thing where you get plenty of stealth with his gadgets and all that. but also plenty of action moments when that's
Hmm.
needed, and they seem to be doing a lot of cool stuff there. So yeah, I'm really excited for that, and I may also check out Marathon whenever that gets a date. Because yeah, I'd like to support Bungie for trying something different
Hmm.
here, and the game seems to be shaping up to hopefully be pretty cool. I don't know. I'd like to see them get a an open beta or something like that, so I can check it out. I've tried to get on the Discord they have for the game and just kind of get into one of their technical tests, but never gotten picked for it. So I'll just wait for a more open beta kind of test of it. So we'll see. But yeah, some nice stuff there for that month, and yeah, I think that's is gonna do it. Unless you have anything to add, Brandon.
Nope, not really. Just that, it's going to be. I'm hoping 2026 is going to be an incredible year like this one was, as far as gaming is concerned. We were inundated with amazing games this year. So much so that, like, when it came to making our top 10 list this year, like, it was kind of a chore trying to find a way, like, what are we going to place here? Because frankly, so many games could easily qualify. Um, and it was just paring down all of them.
Yeah. So yeah, looking forward to the start of the new year, especially because with this list, there's a lot of more original stuff
Hmm.
coming out and small games of note that are coming out. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how that stuff hits.
Hmm.
But yeah, that is going to do it for the show. Thank you, Brandon, for joining this week.
Always.
Yeah, we'll be back next week with some new things to talk about. Mostly, we'll be doing Game of the Year, and that'll go up on the first. Go up alongside um, the Game of the Year article. So we'll be talking about the games we most enjoyed during the year and how that fits on the overall site top 10 for that. So yeah, we'll be doing that. So yeah, our next regular show will be the weekend after New Year's recording. So we'll have some things to talk about of what we've been playing during the semi break here. Less of a break than it seems, but it'll still be
Hmm.
a bit of a break
Yeah.
because we'll put a pin on any news things until next year, essentially. But yeah, thank you all for tuning in. If you enjoy the show, feel free to let friends and family know they should check it out, and select strangers who
Hmm.
also are ready for 2025 to be over. Because
Hmm.
boy, it's had plenty of bullshit going on.
Bullshit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that we're ready to move on from. And yeah, thank you all for tuning in. Hope you have a good week ahead. We will see you all next time. Have a good one.
Bye.